You're listening to the Murder Speaks podcast, the show that spills the tea about true crime. Here's your host, Wendy Hinbest.
Hey, welcome back to Murder Speaks with your host, Wendy.
And your co-host, Brent. Here as always to reflect the audience's questions and try and ensure that we have a complete narrative of the story.
Okay, so today's real crime story is about 9-year-old Jessica Lunsford of Homosassa, Florida.
Homo what?
Homosassa.
Homosassa?
Homosassa. Homosassa. Okay.
It doesn't even sound like a word. It sounds like a sound, like homosassa. Anyway.
Anyways, Jessica was a very neat and clean child. Her father is separated from her mother, Angie Bryant, who lived in Ohio. Her father, Mark, was raising Jessica on his own. Mark and Angie divorced when Jessica was a year old, so Mark gained custody of Jessica. Mark wanted to have a stable home life for his daughter, so he moved back with his parents, Archie and Ruth. Jessica was close with her grandmother. She was like a mother to Jessica. She was the most important woman in Jessica's life.
Is her mom not even in the picture? His mom must be addicted to drugs or something.
I don't know. I tried to find I looked for research on her, but I could not find any information about the mother.
Wow. Yeah, it must have been a drug addict or something. For the father to get full custody is pretty crazy, but then for the mother not even to be in her life means that the mother must not want to be in her life.
I don't know. I don't know why a mother wouldn't want to be in a child's life, but
some people are on drugs.
We don't know what's going on, right? So
or violent or criminal.
So Wednesday, February 23rd, 2005, Mark was going to his girlfriend's place, and he always gave his daughter Jessica a hug and kiss before he left. Jessica came running and told her dad that he can't leave until he gives her a hug and kiss. Jessica always slept with her purple dolphin. Her father won it for her at the fair. Purple was one of Jessica's favorite colors. The next morning, Mark got up to go to work, and he had to come home first. It was about 5:30 in the morning. When he got inside the house, he could hear Jessica's alarm clock going off. So he went in her room to shut it off the alarm, and Jessica wasn't there. He went to his parents' bedroom to ask if Jessica was in there, and they said she wasn't. Her grandmother thought maybe she was hiding.
Oh, did the mother come to kidnap her?
But then they started to panic. Her grandmother called 911.
Emergency? Yes, we got a child missing. How old is the child? 9. Okay. What is her name? Jessica Lunsford. When was the last time you saw her? When she went to bed last night when I put her to bed. What's her date of birth, ma'am? October 6th, 1995. Okay, ma'am. We're getting you some help. Okay, you stay on the line.
The police arrived and found everybody upset. They went into Jessica's bedroom and found no sign of foul play. She didn't put on her school clothes because they were still laid out on the chair, and her jacket and shoes were still there. It was a cold day in Florida, so if she was a runaway, she would have taken her shoes and jacket with her. And her purple dolphin was missing. It looked like an abduction. Her father was extremely upset. The police told him to stay home, but there was no way he can do that. So he went out looking for his daughter. He walked outside and started calling for her. He was frantically looking for her. The police asked Jessica's grandmother if there was anything out of place in Jessica's bedroom, and she said the dirt on the pillow wouldn't be there.
Dirt?
Yeah, apparently there was dirt on Jessica's pillow, a little bit of dirt on her pillow, which wasn't there before. The police started canvassing the neighborhood. One of the houses the police knocked on belonged to 49-year-old Dorothy Dixon. Her residence was close to Jessica's residence. Dorothy explained that she lived there with 3 other people, but her roommates were not home, so they could only search certain areas of the house because they didn't have a warrant. Jessica owned
what? Why were they searching her house?
To just one of the places that, they basically canvassed the whole neighborhood, but then they came across her house, and I don't know, for some reason she let them in, and they just searched her house. You'll find out why later. I don't want to give it away right now.
Okay.
Now, Jessica owned a little dog. And when the police came and knocked on the door, the dog was barking and barking. Apparently the dog barked at everything, just like our dog, Mocha. Yeah. Or our dogs, should I say.
Yeah.
So the police asked Archie and Ruth if they heard the dog barking that night, and they said they didn't. So it had to be somebody the dog knew. So the police were focusing on Jessica's dad and grandfather. A quick background check on them raises some concerns. Her grandfather, Archie, has a criminal history, and so does her father.
Her mother's out of the picture. I can only assume has a criminal history. Her father and grandfather, this kid is... I was picturing a nice house. This must be like a really rundown house in a grimy part of the neighborhood, a town.
Her father has been arrested several times for minor offenses. In the 1950s, her grandfather faced charges for several crimes, including a kidnapping, an assault, and an attempted rape. All the charges against both of them were eventually dropped, though. But they got the attention of the police, obviously.
Yeah, no kidding.
So the police asked Jessica's father and grandfather to go down to the station for questioning. They wanted to separate them and get their statements on video.
Yep.
We gotta be hardcore right off the bat because time is against us. The more time goes by, the harder it gets. I don't have time to sugarcoat things. My job here is not to be everybody's friend. My job here is to find out facts.
I understand. We really need to find your girlfriend, too. Corbin? Yeah, she's easy to find. We'll call her. Because we're calling her, she's not calling us back. I just called her back. I know. I'll be right back with you. Be right back with you.
Some things have been going on between you and Jess. I think things start to escalate. Maybe she said something. She's going to say something to somebody.
I can't believe you're this bunch. I mean, I'm not guilty of anything except loving your grandchild. If you had to get an education to do this, then your money was wasted. You think I ain't gonna get mad? I'm about to get to the point where I can't take it.
Archie, your son was talk to.
Give me that. They keep telling me that they think you know where it's at. I just want Jesse. That's all I want. Dad, I swear I'm gonna blow up on them. I'm about to do the same. They're accusing me. I know. That's what they've come to me and said. And I keep telling them my dad wouldn't do anything. They keep telling me that they think you know where she's at. If I knew you... Forgive me, Dad. But they keep saying things to me. There's just no way. I just want Jesse. That's all I want. It's all both of us. I can't find this. What am I going to do?
The father sounds sincere. Seems like he's really upset, and he's reasonable too. Like he's admitting, the circumstances of her disappearance are suspicious. I can understand why they would look at us first, but at the same time, I'm frustrated because I know that I had nothing to do with it, and every second that you're wasting on me is another second that you're not finding out where she actually is. So. That's very frustrating.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
But you can tell by his reaction that he was definitely emotional. Like, he's not faking it.
No, he seems panicked.
Yeah. So Mark told the police that he was with his girlfriend most of the night. So the police spoke to his girlfriend, and their stories lined up. Mark showed true emotion. There was no acting. Like, you can totally see he was really upset. While one detective was questioning Mark, another was questioning Jessica's grandfather, Archie. Now, the police thought he was acting strange, so they asked Mark to be in a room alone with him, and Mark went along with that. So for 2 days, the police questioned Mark and Archie, but the police were really focused more on Archie. They were convinced it was an inside job, and Archie knew what happened to Jessica.
Well, it could still be some form of an inside job. I personally think it's the mother, but...
So the police gave both of them a lie detector test, and they both passed. By February 27th, 2005, Jessica had been missing for 3 days. The police turned their attention to Jessica's mother.
Yeah.
The police were able to confirm Angie's whereabouts the night Jessica disappeared. She was in Ohio.
100%. Okay.
At this point, the police were thinking Jessica was taken by a stranger. Statistically speaking, if a child is taken, most likely there was a sexual component involved. So the police were fearing sexual abuse. So the police went through the sex predators in the area. There were 208 sex offenders in Citrus County.
It's wild how many sex offenders there are. Not just there, but if you look at a sex offender map, they have maps that show where they are. It's shocking. I mean, I think some sex offenders are minor things, like somebody was peeing outside and they got caught by the cops, and they're technically a sex offender, but they're not really. So I don't know, but let's just say even 50% of people that are arrested for sex as a sex offender are somebody would commit an assault or whatever. There's still a remarkable number of sex offenders living around like where you live or where anybody lives, even if you live somewhere remote.
Is that information available online?
Yeah, there's
Anybody?
websites. There's websites.
I should check and see if there's anything by
I forget what the websites are called, but you can find the websites, and yeah, you'll find it. You'll find it. There'll be people all around our neighborhood. It's wild.
We have 5 kids. I like to know.
Yeah.
50 of them lived close to Jessica, so she was surrounded by bad guys.
Everybody is. Everywhere you go, everybody is surrounded by sex offenders. It's nuts.
So the police were checking on each one, confirming where they were the night Jessica went missing and their alibi. When the police reached one particular residence, something looked off. It was clear nobody lived there for quite some time. It was a mobile home. There was trash everywhere. The police were there to check 46-year-old sex offender John Cooey. He had about 24 arrests, and he was no longer at the residence he was supposed to be at.
24 arrests?
The police couldn't find him. He had an extensive criminal record, but one stood out. He broke into a house and was caught by the dad in his little girl's bedroom. The police,
how is he not in jail?
Don't know, man. I don't
get. Like, this man broke into a person's house and was standing and was caught in the child's bedroom, and he served like 8 months in jail, and he's back out again.
I know.
To do it,
it's crazy. It's insane.
Well, but he might not do it again. Who cares if he might not? He did it once.
Yes.
He's done. He never gets out.
I agree. The police found the body in a pond, but it wasn't Jessica. There were so many leads.
Wait, go back. Wait, what happened there? Last I heard, the guy.
He broke into a house and was caught by the dad in his little girl's room.
Right, but the little girl was still in the room.
No, I was just basically like talking about like because he had.
I know. It's a prior criminal record.
It's a prior criminal record.
But I'm saying we went from there to somehow there being a girl in a pond.
Well, this is the next thing.
Okay.
So yeah, that was what the police found out about his past.
Him. Okay.
And then now, going back to the case, the police found a body in a pond, but it wasn't Jessica's.
Okay. So.
But there were so many leads. One of the leads came from Maddie Secord, John Cooey's niece. She told police.
Who's John Cooey again?
John Cooey is the one who had 24 arrests. He was caught in little.
So his
bedroom.
niece is giving the police information about him.
Yes.
Okay.
She told police that John Cooey was living at the house across the street from Jessica Lunsford, but nobody knew it.
Oh, this is the rental place?
This was...
With the place with all the roommates and stuff?
I think, yes.
Okay.
Yes. The house belongs to Dorothy Dixon, John Cooey's sister, which is why the police were there searching the house.
Right.
But I didn't want to say that at that time. I want to give it away.
You got to set up the story, baby.
Yeah. So Dorothy Dixon is one of the people the police interviewed. But they weren't allowed to look in certain rooms because they didn't have a warrant at the time. March 14th, 2005, the police raced back to the residence with a warrant this time. At this time...
How many days later is this now?
At this time, Jessica had been missing for 18 days.
18 days? It took them 18 days to get a warrant for that house?
Yeah.
Jesus.
They went into John Cooey's room, and there was a bloody mattress and some speaker wire.
For God's sake.
It was turned into evidence for examination. The police found evidence that Jessica had been there. So the police asked Dorothy where her brother was, and she told them that she gave him money for a bus ticket to Savannah, Georgia.
Why aren't they arresting her?
In my opinion, she
like this was happening in her house. She wouldn't let them in that room. Like, okay.
Yeah, she's a piece of crap, too. Dorothy told police that she didn't know that Jessica was in the house. Bull crap.
Then why didn't she let the police search the whole house?
John Cooey is all over the news. A homeless shelter worker in Augusta, Georgia, recognized him and called the police. John Cooey was interviewed by the police. People
shouldn't have even been arrested. It shouldn't even have been interviewed by the police. The police should have used his head like a volleyball until he couldn't talk anymore.
Okay, people, for warning, viewer discretion advised. This guy's a piece of crap. Okay.
Yeah, this is probably gonna get violent and gross.
You know why I'm here to talk to you.
Yeah, I know why you're here. Yeah.
Okay, because there's no sense dragging this whole thing out.
No, I understand that.
Where are you staying at when you live before?
I'm staying with my sister. Now y'all had detectives come through that house where my sister was.
Did you know Jessica?
No, sir, I never married her.
You never saw her in your entire life?
No, because I didn't go out of the house that much.
Okay. We got called in this room because you wanted to tell us something.
Yes, sir.
You told me that you had done something to Jessica.
I didn't mean to do it, sir.
Okay. Johnny, listen to me. You all right? Like I told you before, it's a disease, Charlie. We're going to help you out with it.
Before in my life.
It just happened, didn't it? Like I said, it went one step too far, didn't it? Johnny, listen to me. I know it's going to be hard, but you got to tell me from the start.
Yes, sir, man. I went over there and took her out of her house.
Who's?
Her house.
Who we're talking about?
Jessica's house.
In the middle of the confession, he asked for a lawyer, but the police didn't want to wait, so they proceeded anyway.
Well, because they were probably worried that if she's still alive,
Yeah.
they want to get to her as fast as possible.
Exactly.
How did you know she was even in there?
I did.
Okay.
I just took a chance and walked in.
But did you know a girl lived over there?
Yes, I seen her walking up down the street. So I know she lived
So
there.
you knew she lived there?
Yes, sir.
Did you walk back into her room?
Yes, sir. I walked back into her room.
What did you say to her?
I just told her to come on with me, to be quiet. She told him what I asked her to do.
She walked out of the house with you?
Yes, walked out.
Did she take her stuffed dolls or
Took her stuff,
a dolphin?
no, a doll, it's an animal stuff in it.
A dolphin.
Dolphin, yes, sir.
Okay. So she gets up, she walks out of the house with you.
Yes, sir.
Where do you
I
go?
take her to my house.
Into your bedroom?
Yes, sir.
What happens next?
Then my sexual assault her. And I'm a sick person. I didn't mean to do what I did to the child. I only know what I did to her. First time they came around, they would have came in, they would have called her in my phone. I need your help.
Did she ever ask you to let her go home?
She asked me where I went out to let her go, and I told her I would let her go. I was going to let her go. You know, I was just going to let her go. And I got scared. I didn't let her go. I should have just let her go, and I didn't.
And now, what happens?
I put her in a bag.
What kind of bag?
Plastic garbage bag.
What happened next?
Went out there one night and dug a hole and put her in it, buried her.
Was she dead already?
No, she's still alive. They buried her alive.
Where's her dolphin?
She was in there buried with her.
In the bag with her?
Yes, sir. I let her keep her. She wouldn't take it with her.
When you put her inside both those garbage bags, and you put her inside that hole, you knew she was going to die, didn't you?
Yes, sir. I do that.
Johnny, listen to me. Johnny, she's very important. You get a hold of yourself now.
How can you bring your kid on your dad? I feel bad for her parents now. I took their child from them.
Okay, so this is one of our darker cases. We had to take a little minute to compose ourselves after hearing that guy's confession, because that's one of the darkest stories you could ever imagine. This guy is beyond a piece of shit. I can't wait till this man dies, some type of a horrible death. I think his sister, who didn't let the police investigate this, I think she knew that the girl was there and didn't want her to get found. So I hope something terrible happens to her too. But this guy and his sister are pieces of shit.
Yeah, I agree.
You heard the case. I don't want to talk about what happened to that little girl again, because that's a little rough to listen to.
It is.
So I think we'll just move on to some more information about whatever happens next. This is a dark one.
It is. So I was actually crying a little bit, so I had to, just calm down. But I'm good now. But like my husband said, I agree with everything he said, and guy is a piece of crap. So that's why I said viewer discretion advised.
Yeah.
So
we should probably put some type of a warning up front of this episode, because this is probably is easily the most disturbing and
yes,
roughest case.
triggering, especially for women.
Yeah.
It'd be triggering for anybody, but I mean, if you're a mom, you'll definitely
young
get triggered, like I did. On March 17th, Huey was arrested and charged with the murder of Jessica Lunsford and transported to the Citrus County Jail in Florida. And on August 11th, 2007, a jury overseeing Jessica's case voted 10-2 that John be eligible for the death sentence.
Right. I think the reason it was 10-2 is because they didn't hear the confession.
Yeah.
If they'd heard that confession, I'm sure it would have been 12-0.
Yeah, it would have been 12-0 for sure. How can you hear that confession and not want this man to die? I mean, I don't wish death upon anybody.
It's not even so much that you'd want to kill him, but you'd just be like, this person just can't exist anymore.
Yeah. I don't wish death upon anybody, but I mean, someone like that shouldn't live in society with other people.
Just shouldn't exist.
To just Awful.
Like, it requires killing them. So, like, yeah, but I mean, like, this kind of person just shouldn't exist. So, I mean, I'm not one really to support the death penalty, but in a case like this, like, I'm not going to go out there and protest it. You know what I mean? Like, they're like we're going to put this guy to death. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Go take care of it.
Yeah, for sure. Defense for John argued that he had suffered from a lifetime of emotional abuse and had a below normal IQ.
I believe the first part. I can understand why they think he has low IQ too, but to not be guilty of it, you have to not be aware of what you did was wrong.
Yeah.
Like, a mentally handicapped person might kill somebody and then just stand there playing with their toy while the body's there, and then people come in and they arrest them and they don't fully understand what's going on. That's like
yes.
Not mentally capable or mentally insane. But, like, you know, tying somebody up and holding them hostage while the police are looking for them, like, you know what you're doing, and then killing people, and then running and hiding, like, all these things are like, you know what you're doing.
Yes.
You're completely accountable for your actions because you knew what you're doing was wrong every single step of the way.
And he cried about it and said,
but the jury didn't hear that in the confession.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying we heard that, and we're like, I'm sick. Like, he knew what he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. And I believe, like, I don't think that these people do this on purpose. Like, I don't think that they want to kill kids. I think there's, like, a compulsion. Like, this guy was probably sexually abused as a kid too. But that's beside the point. Is that the point now is that regardless of what happened to him, he's simply too sick to function in society. Like, and like a sick dog, you put them down. Like, you know, like, that's all you can do with a person like this. Is like, if they're compelled, they can't stop acting in this manner, then they need to be put out of their misery. I guess is another way to look at it.
Yep, I agree. Okay, so on August 24th, 2007, John was sentenced to death, in addition to 3 consecutive life sentences.
Right.
He died September 30th, 2009 from natural causes before his execution could take place. Mark became an advocate for Jesse's law against child sex offenders and predators. The law includes a mandatory minimum sentence of 25 years in prison for certain sexual offenses and lifetime electronic monitoring for convicted sex offenders.
Oh, right. For the convictions he had before. So they're saying, like, if these conditions had been imposed on him from his prior convictions, he wouldn't have been able to commit the crime against his daughter.
Exactly.
In the first place. Yeah, okay.
Jesse's law was approved in Florida in 2005 and went into effect in more than 40 other states. A child advocacy center was created and named after Jessica Lunsford. The intent is to make every child who experiences an abuse have a safe and comfortable place to go and tell their story and recover. I always say, don't make it easier for someone to, I know someone can easily break in your house if your door's locked, but why make it easier for them? That they can just walk right in. Like, lock your door.
Well, most criminals aren't like the Purge. Like, they're not walking around with, like axes and torches.
No,
to
I
build
know that.
No, I know. I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is most criminals don't walk around with torches. So, yeah, you can lock all your doors and windows. If somebody really wants to get into your house, they can no matter what. Nothing you can do to stop that. Yeah. But they have to have tools. When you see these cases, the vast majority of criminals, they're not walking around with tools.
Exactly.
It seems that the overwhelming amount of cases, it's the same thing. It's a crime of convenience. Mm-hmm. Like, a girl's passed out in a ditch. A car door is left unlocked. A house door is left unlocked. It's almost always a crime of convenience by cowards. Like, these people are cowards. They're not looking for confrontation with other adults. And just like the simple act of locking doors and just taking little precautions are the extreme difference between being the victim of a crime and not being the victim of a crime. Because the type of criminal that walks around with like an axe or a torch that's going to bust into your house no matter what, that's like approaching 0 cases. Like, it's like a number so small that it may as well be 0. The vast majority is just crime of opportunity. And don't leave yourself open to be that opportunity.
And we've seen so many shows, too, of, that take place in small towns, and they say, it's so safe, nothing ever happens, we leave our doors unlocked.
And it's true. In small towns, crimes almost like this almost never happen. You look at like a small town with 5 to 10,000 people in it. A crime like this happens once every 50 to 100 years. Like
it's true, yeah.
Like the odds are it never will. It's just that sometimes it does. So and it's such an easy thing to lock a door. Locking a door is just putting your fingers on the thing and just flicking the lock. It just takes 1 second. And it's the difference between a crime of opportunity and just somebody passing by to the next door.
Yep.
So anyways, lock your doors. Simple,
Yes.
Almost as simple as that.
Lock your doors, man.
It's amazing how many cases of crime involve just like somebody being, in an inconvenient position. You're walking down the street in the middle of the night by yourself. You're even during the day, like you're just like one girl or two young girls walking down the street. A van pulls up and grabs you.
Yep.
It's just opportunity. Like the person that sometimes these people may not even be out cruising looking for trouble. They might just be driving and they just see a young girl and all of a sudden, kind of like the urge to have a cigarette or the urge to have a drink. Like there's like that urge and that person just gives in to that impulse and just acts on it. And like you see, like this guy here, like afterwards, like he's remorseful, and I think they actually are remorseful. Like, but they can't help themselves in the moment.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but yeah. Lock your doors, people.
Yeah, lock your door.
Yeah. So,
All right.
anyways, well, wait. Before we go,
we're not going to have any more kids' cases here. We're not going to have any more kids' cases on Patreon. I don't think we ever had a kids' case on Patreon. So get a Patreon. Check out just like normal adults getting murdered.
Yeah.
Not feeling so crappy.
I think
about
it's too hard for me because I have 5 kids. We have 5 kids, and it's too hard. So I think, this will be the first and last. Well, I think I might have done other kids in the past, but anyway, this will be the last one. So we'll focus on just women and not children. It's just too hard for me. Both of us, but more hard for me. Her hits me harder. So, anyways, before we get into Patreon, I just want to say I'm very sorry for Jessica's father's loss. And we mean no disrespect.
And the grandparents.
And the grandparents and anyone who knew her. And, and we do have a Patreon.
Yeah, just go check out some happy stories of grown women being killed.
Oh, God. Yeah, not happy, but, not as depressing as a 9-year-old. So...
Yeah. I mean, depressing always, but there's something about kids that hits every single person because kids are so innocent. And that's what hits people so hard.
Yes.
Like, not that adults deserve it. Adults aren't innocent.
No,
It's just that they're
no.
not kids. Like, so, anyways.
No one deserves
not happy cases of people being killed. I was being...
No, he was being... my husband was being
I don't know
silly.
if sarcastic or
He was
silly is
being
right.
sarcastic, silly, but he doesn't mean that.
They were using gallows humor, I guess you might say. So anyways, go check out the Patreon, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, thanks for listening. Bye!